Now, as you know, over in Western Australia, Premier Mark McGowan, well, he's been shifting the goalposts and he just wants to keep the world away from his state. It's amazing what's gone on there and how long they're going to remain isolated. Just to give you a sense of the mindset, have a listen to Western Australia's Health Minister speaking yesterday.
We have, in all but name, lockdowns over East. It's essentially lockdown by default. We have significant absenteeism potentially from schools.
Lockdowns in the east, hey? It's hell in the east of Australia, according to the Western Australian government. Unbelievable. Don't they flick on the telly and see the crowds at the tennis and all the rest of it? What do they think Sydney's pubs and restaurants are doing at the moment? Let me bring in the Lord Mayor of Perth, Basil Zempilas. Thanks for joining us again, Basil. Good to talk to you. You must be so frustrated at this continuing isolation, and you're very... I think you've been kind to the state government, but sceptical, if that's a fair way to characterise what you've said. But he's painting a picture that's completely misleading of what's happening in the rest of the country in order to justify his actions.
Well, there's no doubt that anybody who is on social media across here in the West saw a barrage of tweets from either former West Aussies or just citizens of New South Wales and Victoria, for example, having heard those comments yesterday, very keen to prove that there is, in fact, no lockdown. And yes, indeed, just a glance at the tennis or any of the other sports being telecast at the moment proves that that is not the case. It is a real double-edged sword over here, Chris. That is the reality. There are many people very satisfied that the February 5 reopening has been put on hold and, in fact, been delayed indefinitely. However, it is also fair to say that there are a growing number of West Australians frustrated that there doesn't appear to be a path forward, and there is no certainty now. I think the other consideration in all of this is that most West Australians accept that when we do open the borders, Omicron or whichever strain replaces it will eventually get in. We may have thought that it was in recently. We're down to 13 cases today. So, in fact, the trend is down over the last couple of days. But if it's going to get in eventually, and we appreciate that that is going to change our way of life for a period, then aren't we just delaying the inevitable? And so these are the factors at play over here in the West.
But this has been the point. This has been the whole argument for 2 years. It is inevitable. It was obvious almost 2 years ago it's inevitable. So it's a matter of delaying this. And when you've got a vaccinated population, everyone's ready to go, and a more mild variant, I mean, what more do you want to wait for? Just a point, though. I want to go to the front page of the West Australian on the weekend where they had Mark McGowan there, 658 days, they said, and he's still not ready. To me, this was a big turning point. The media and the public in Western Australia have been so rock solid behind Mark McGowan. Is this a turning point? Is it now okay to actually question what this Premier is doing in Western Australia?
Well, clearly there has been a questioning of this latest move, the decision from Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. across here in the West, to revert away from the February 5 reopening. And I think a lot of that questioning has been around why has that been necessary? We were told that a lot of the last 2 years or 22 months was spent getting our health system ready. And many West Australians are asking the question, does this indicate that our health system is not ready? The other thing the government have done very well, they have kept us safe. There is no doubt about that. And they have promoted an environment when West Australians have, by and large, been able to get about their business, excluding those who have business on the East Coast or in other parts of the world. What they haven't been as good at is selling the hope or the optimism, the way forward. We know it's been tough. We know we've been isolated, but here's what we have to look forward to. Now, we had something to look forward to. We had a February 5 reopening, but that has been taken away and it hasn't been replaced by another fixed date, which means when will we reopen? We were told that maybe 80 or 90% third dose. How long will that take? And what if that happens in the middle of winter? Is that the right time to be reopening?
As Lord Mayor, Basil, do you say now is the time? Are you calling on the Premier to hurry up and do it now?
Well, what I can tell you is that businesses in the city are struggling. There are less people up and down the CBD today and there were on Friday. So confidence has been eroded by this decision not to open the borders on February 5. I've got no doubt that the modelling that they're seeing, that the wisdom that they are applying in their minds is very sound. But I can only report what I'm seeing on the streets, and that is less people in the city, less confidence, less certainty, and that has made it very tough, particularly for small business operators.
Absolutely, very, very tough indeed. Thanks for joining us, Basil.
Anytime, Chris.
Basil Zempilas, the Lord Mayor of the great city of Perth. They've just got to open up the state.